Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Programming with the Purpose. This is the part 6 in the series of learning Duolingo app using SwiftUI. So these are some of the screens that we are going to create. The screen is pretty much like the onboarding view we have created in our part 2, and then this is going to be a streak screen that we are going to create. So let's start building this app with these screens. So first we are going to create a result card. So these are the kind of views that will be created using this card, only one rectangular view. So it is going to have some of the properties like color, which means that the background color, which is yellow, blue, or green, then a title and an image name, which is displayed along with the value. So these are all of the properties of this result card struct. I am passing some of the static values inside the preview so that we'll be able to see the view on the right hand side inside the preview window. These are the assets that I have added for this purpose. I am going to share some of the link of these assets inside the description box. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's start building our result card. So first we are going to create a rectangle which act as a background, and on the top of that we are going to basically start creating the text and another rectangle. So let's enclose it inside a Z stack. So next we are going to create a V stack. It will contain the title and the next rectangular view, which will contain our image and the value inside an H stack. So you can go back the view and the part of the video where I have shown the view, and you are going to see that why I am adding these part of the views. So the heading is added, and next we are going to basically add it inside a Z stack. So this is the H stack that I've added, and you can see that the view is not that visible. This is due to the reason that we haven't added the rectangular background on the back of this H stack, which I'm going to add here after completing this H stack. So here I'm passing the color inside the text as well. So here I am encapsulating it inside a Z stack, and the background of this Z stack, or the background element, will be a rectangle of the color white, which is same as the background color. So here I'm decreasing the height so that the view is properly visible. So here I am setting spacing as 0 inside the H tag to bring the image and the value closer. So this is how it's going to look like on a normal view or light view. Next, here I'm adding a color set where I'm adding a background color which is white for any appearance or for light mode, and for dark mode I'm setting it as a black color. So now I'm going to show you here the dark mode. It is visible like this, but we need to change the color of the rectangle as well as the color of the text of the title. So I've set it as background. So that means that whenever a dark mode is selected, it will appear like this inside the preview. So next I am creating the result view. This is basically the complete view that will contain an image, some text, and these result cards. So this is the view that we are going to create here. So first add the image. I have already added this image inside the assets with the name of Duo Result. Here I am resizing it and scaling it to fit to the screen. Next I am going to add the text of learning legend and setting a certain size of the text along with a foreground color which is yellow. So next I'm going to add a text below it, and all of these elements are encapsulated inside a V stack because they are vertically aligned. So I am copy pasting all of the properties here, and now I'll adjust the size as well as the color. So I'll remove the color, which means that it is automatically going to pick the background color according to the screen background color. So here I've added a result card. We need to have basically 3 result cards for total XP, speedy, and good. The values inside all of these result cards will be calculated with some algorithm or logic that Duolingo uses. I haven't worked on that, but it seems pretty obvious that what kind of values these titles hold. So speedy means that the amount of time you take to complete a lesson. Total XP will be basically some formula applied to the correct answers or the correct lessons. And next will be the accuracy, that how accurate you were basically answering the question in the first attempt. Most probably it will be like that. So after that, I have added a little space, and then I'm going to add a button with the title of Claim XP. So here I am going to copy paste the button from our onboarding questionnaire view, the continue button, and I'm going to paste it here. So here I'm going to change its title and the background color, which is going to be green. So there is an error, we need to fix it basically. I'm also adding the support for the dark mode by adding the color as dot background. So there is an extra bracket, I'm going to remove it, and now the button is visible. You can also change the corner radius to make it more presentable, but I'm going to keep it as 10 because all of the buttons are kept with a radius of 10 previously. So these are the, here you are going to pass the property values from some previous view, which is going to be basically your lesson view. In navigation view, here I'm going to add the property of setting the back button item as hidden so that it is not visible on the top of the screen. So next I'm going to create the next view, which is basically the Duo talking screen or Duo talking view. So this is pretty much like the onboarding view where a Duo is telling something to the user. So this is the generic view. After creation of this view, you can actually use it to improve our onboarding view. So first we are going to pass it a view, which means that on which view it is going to navigate to after the Duo completing all of its conversation. And switch view index will be the index which is going to tell us that at that index we are going to switch to the next view. And rest, the index is going to basically iterate over the app constants array to print the messages that the Duo is going to converse with the user. So a navigation view as usual, because we need to navigate to the next view after clicking off the continue button. So here I'll be copying some of the code from onboarding questionnaire view, which is going to be a Z stack that contains a speech bubble and on the top of that some text. So here I'm going to get the text from the onboarding texts with the index which we have passed here. So I'm removing here the padding. After that, I'm going to add an image, which is basically a Duo image. I'm randomly picking up the onboarding image too here. Then I'm going to add a certain spacer with a frame height of 100 to create some space between the Duo and the button. And if index is equals to switch index, we are going to use the navigation link to move to a destination view, which is basically the view that is passed to this struct. And next, I'm going to copy the button body from onboarding questionnaire view. So here I'm removing all of the errors. And next in the else, we are also going to display a button, which upon clicking is going to increment the index so that we move to the next text in the speech bubble from the app constants file. There is also one improvement that you can do inside this code is that the continue button is created and displayed in a lot of views. So we can create a general view and we can import that view to basically follow the principle of reusability inside our code. So here also I'm adding the back button hidden in the navigation bar. So next I'm going to create the view which is basically a streak view. So this is going to contain a text and an image, and after that another text and then a rectangular view which will contain the name of the days, and it is going to basically mark the day that we have completed our lesson on as orange. So first create the navigation view and the default property of setting its back button as hidden. Then a Z stack which will contain an image and the number of days streak on the top of it, which will be basically present inside the variable streak day count. So this is how the flame is going to look like. This is obviously a bit different from the flame that is inside the actual Duolingo app. And you can see here that we are now creating the view inside the dark mode in the preview. So here I'm going to switch to light view and going to show you how it's going to look like. So next I'm going to add another text below it, and we are going to basically add all of these properties inside a V stack. So let's add a little bit of padding here on the top. So put it inside a V stack so that the text will be visible. So this is how it's going to look like. Next, we are going to add the bottom button here, which says I'm committed. So let's remove the extra code and errors. So this is how it's going to look like. But you have seen that the text is not properly aligned and the button is left aligned. This is due to the reason that we have added an unnecessary leading padding, which I've removed. Now here we are going to add a days view, a rectangular view. For that, I'm going to create a day card first, which is going to basically contain a day title, and at the bottom it is going to contain a circle. This is basically the highlighted orange view is the view that we are going to create inside this day card. So let's create a V stack. So the two values that are being passed to this day card is going to be the day name and the color. Or you can pass the value of is selected as bool and decide the color accordingly. So this is how I'm setting here the text, day name. And after that, I'm going to create a circle. So let's pass some static values inside the preview macro. So here the circle is being filled with the orange color. We are going to draw a gray line stroke around it of width 5, and then we are going to decrease its size. So this is how it's going to look like. So next we are going to basically create a Swift file which is going to basically contain some of the helper functions. I'm going to discuss here each of the function, why we need it, and what this function is going to do for us. So first let's add the weekdays and weekends in the form of a two-lettered initials inside a static array with the name days. After that, let's write the first function, get day. You can also name it as get day index because it is going to return the index of the day inside this array days. So we are going to pass it a day and it is going to iterate over the days array that we have just created, and it is going to return the index of the day. Suppose we are going to pass it as Wednesday, so it is going to return 0, 1, 2 as an index. Since we need to create the view which is going to start the week on the current day on which we have completed the first streak. So if I have completed the streak today, it's Tuesday here, so it means that it is going to highlight the day as Tuesday. So get current day is going to get the basically current day, which means that if today is Tuesday, it is going to return Tuesday, TUE here, with the code that I am writing here. So from the date, it is going to get the date, and it is going to return that day in the form of a string. So next, I'm going to write another function with the name of get current week, which is going to basically give us the sorted array of strings which will contain the days according to our starting day. For example, if the week starts from Tuesday, it is going to start from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that kind of a week, we are going to basically change the days inside this array days and return the new array. So first it is going to basically get all of the days from this days array, and then it is going to move from index to the next. For example, if the index is 2, it is going to start writing the day names from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday till it reaches towards the end of the array, and afterwards it is going to basically pass through this iterator again, and it is going to add the remaining days, which are basically for the case I less than index. So here it is giving me an error that we cannot mutate our week array because it is with a let constant. So it is a constant array, we cannot change it. So we need to move it from let to var. So these are the three functions that will help us to get the week according to our needs. So first create a rounded rectangle as a background, and on the top of that we are going to start writing our days. So here I am going to create a rectangle as wide as the screen, -20 for some padding, and a height of 200. So let's create here a V stack, which will contain an 8 stack inside it as the first element. So first I'm going to get a date object by calling the date struct initializer, which is the default initializer since we haven't mentioned any initializer in the date struct. Next we are going to get the day and the index of our day, the current day. Now its stack is going to basically populate all of the entries with the week that we are going to get using the get current week function from the date struct. After that, I'm going to iterate over the week and paste all of these values inside an 8 stack. So here you are going to write the logic that which of the days are going to be the orange ones. Here I am going to pose a serious question here. Why we are using this logic? If there are streak days as 2 and 3, how this logic is going to basically justify the view that we are going to create here? If you know the answer, please post in the comment section. So here we are getting a weekday. So some padding at the top and then a rectangle with a height of 1, which will basically be drawn as a line. So we set the frame height as 1. So this is the line that we have drawn. It is so easy to draw a vertical or a horizontal line using rectangle inside SwiftUI. So here I'm basically switching to the dark mode, and here you can see that the line is invisible, so we are going to set it as gray. Next we are going to add some padding here on the top to make the view more presentable. Next we are going to add here a static text here. You can add all of these static text inside the app constants file as well. It is going to be a very good practice, because when we need to change a text, we do not need to basically go through each of the view, and we can simply change it inside the app constants file. And obviously if you have a backend, all of these strings will be present there inside the database, and you can change there easily. So this is the view that we have created up till this point. We need to add some of the padding on the left and right side, basically the leading and trailing side, so that the text is adjusted inside the rectangle, or we can basically change the size of this text, like create a smaller text, whichever option works for you. Also, you can add a little bit of space after this rectangle between the button I am committed and this rectangle. It is going to look nice. Let's start adjusting these views inside our app flow. So first we are going to get a certain index, which means that our lesson is completed, and we are going to move to the result view, which is basically the view that contains the image, some text, and our result cards. Otherwise, we are simply going to move inside our lesson screens with the index. So this is how we are going to adjust the lesson view. We are going to copy here the code of the button, continue. Let's copy it from below and paste it here. Remove all of these errors. Next, I am going to move to result view, and from result view, we are going to move to the talking duo screens or view. So we are going to remove the button and add a navigation link here, and we are going to move to the duo talking view. The view we are going to pass here is basically the streak view, because after duo talking view, we are going to move to the streaks view. So let's add the streak view here, the name of the view, which is going to be an index of 4, which means that we are going to start picking the text from the 4th index onwards, and switch index 5 is going to be 5. So we are going to move to the streaks view when the index is going to be 5. So here I'll be adding the next text strings. You can copy these from the screens that I've shared previously. So the first is congrats on completing your first lesson. And next is now let's build you a habit of practicing every day. So the Appflow is done. Next, we are going to basically provide the support for the dark mode where we are going to replace the white color with the background. So here I'm going to search for the color black, and we are going to basically create another color with the name of background invert, which is going to be basically white for dark mode and black for basically light mode. So that is why we are going to call it the background invert. And wherever the color is black, we are going to use the color background invert for the dark mode. So here I'm looking at the all of the color instances of white and black. So let's build the code and play the code. So first I'm going to quickly go through the lessons. The video is playing at a very faster rate so that we'll quickly move to the last screens. So here this screen is not aligned properly. Also, the speech bubble triangle is not aligned towards the duo. So we need to adjust these changes inside the duo talking view. So here I'm removing the padding, changing this bottom to true inside the speech bubble, and adding index +1 inside the button action. So let's play the code again. Here I'm using the light mode for testing. So let's quickly move to through the lessons in the light mode. And this is the view, this is the view. You can add a little bit more space between the duo. And this is the streaks view. So it looks pretty much what we have expected. I have changed the point location inside the speech bubble because it is basically a little off from the rectangle. And we have increased the spacer frame height. So next we are going to basically change the settings, switch to dark mode, and let's play the app again to see that if the dark mode is working properly or not. So the first issue we have encountered is basically the options card is not displaying the option. So we need to make the change here as well, which we have previously ignored while making it adjust according to the dark mode. So now these are visible. Quickly go through the lessons and see the result streaks view and do talking screens. Do they look fine? So let's move through it. So it is looking perfect. This is also looking quite good. Apart from that, the speech bubble text color should also be black. So this is all for this tutorial. I hope you've learned something from it. I'm not quite sure that I'm going to add another part in this series, but if you really want to understand something or you want me to work on the backend connection or the refactoring or restructuring the code, do let me in the comment section. I might add another video, but almost it is done for the developmental phase for this app. So this is all, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. Thanks for watching.